Hi YouTube. Today I'm going to be making a video on safely operating vintage equipment, mainly vintage tractors. That's all I use around here on my farm. My newest tractor is from 1974. And some people that might know, these things weren't really, there we go. These things weren't really that safe to use. So, I'm going to be going over some simple tips of how you can run these tractors and make them much safer. So this is a 1947 Farmall H. It has a narrow front end. I want to talk about the narrow front end first. When you're going around a corner, these things can tip over really easily. When you're going down a hill sideways, like this, your tractor can tip over really easily. Because this tractor here is a wide front end. This wide front end gives this tractor much more stability because its center of weight is distributed over 4 points. So you have a much bigger square of where the tractor's balance is. Whereas with this H over here, you have a triangle where your weight is distributed 3 points. So you have much less room. So as the first thing I want to mention, you can tip these over very easily. Most people, most farmers are killed every year because of rollovers. It's starting to rain a little bit, so just please bear with me. Not supposed to be like a crazy high quality video, but second thing I want to mention, your PTO. If you ever have something connected to this PTO, you always want to shut your PTO off before you get off the tractor. It is very important. Many people have lost limbs instantly, that quick, because of that PTO spinning, and they got jeans. Like I'm wearing a hoodie and jeans. Even that can get caught. Okay. So we're gonna move on to the battery. When your tractor is not running, take your battery cable off. Always important. Down there is your sediment bowl. See that? You want to turn that fuel off every single time you don't use the tractor. Now I've turned on the fuel and I've put the battery on. So let's start the tractor now. I'm gonna turn it on and we're gonna hit the button. But wait. That right there kills a lot of people, what I just did. Standing next to your tractor and starting it kills people. Every single time you go to start your tractor, you get up in the seat. And you make sure that it's not in gear, give it a little handshake, start the tractor. Okay, your tractor is running and you're ready to move. Look around you. Is there anything on the ground that you will hit when you start moving? Now I'm going to talk about the clutch. My clutch isn't properly adjusted, but what you want to do is when you put your tractor in gear, is you let out that clutch slow and easy. And let it out all the way once you're going. And you get your tractor out. So now you're moving. Now you want to switch gears. You push that clutch in, push your brakes, stop the tractor, and we're going to change gears. And you let that clutch out real slow. And I'm going to show you what happens when you let that clutch out fast. I'm sitting here stopped. Give it a bit of throttle like you're in the field. You let that clutch out fast. You're jerking, okay? And if you're not holding on to that steering wheel, you will fall right off the tractor and onto whatever you're using. So that's incredibly important. Now you can see it's raining out. The tractor's starting to get a little bit wet, but we're gonna power through it. Turning your tractor. You don't want to be going too fast. If you need to, use those brakes, slow it down. Especially with these narrow front ends. That's how most people get killed every single year as a farmer. Rollovers on tractor. And if you notice with these tractors, there is no rollover protection. ROPS is what they're called. There is nothing. I am the highest point on this tractor. Okay. We've talked about moving. I'm going to shut the tractor off. we've talked about moving. Reason why you always want to start the tractor sitting on your seat. I've put the tractor in gear. I'm going to start the tractor here, okay? Tractor's in gear. My foot's not on the clutch. Imagine I'm standing right here. Tractor just started. We're rolling, and I had no foot on that clutch. So you can start this tractor in gear, and you can hit a building. You can kill yourself. So it is incredibly important that when you're driving these tractors, that you are not on the ground. My great-grandfather spent many months in a hospital because he got ran over by a tractor. All right, now that we've talked about that, get the tractor out, we can look at it a little bit better. What do you notice on this tractor that just seems inherently dangerous? Batteries underneath the fuel tank. When you're running, you always want to make sure that you have no gas dripping down on your battery. A little bit of a history lesson. When these tractors were made, this cap right here that I'm using, this cap came on these tractors. When you had your tank full, this cap would sweat. You would get pressure that would build up in here from the fumes. You would have liquid fuel come out that would come down, and you would end up having fuel drip on your starter. One farmer died because his tractor caught on fire because of that cap dripping on his starter, and he died. So I never run this tank full. This tank is probably full up to here. I just put enough gas in it to get it out for this video. I want to talk about the crank a little bit. I don't use the crank. You can see this pin is broke. But when you're using the crank, these tractors can kick back if they are not timed perfectly. And what works in here, you see mine is broken. There's a connection to your crankshaft. And you turn the tractor over by hand with a crank. Now I don't have that crank, like I said. People break wrists. You won't die, but people break wrists. So you just want to be careful. Okay, I'm trying to think of anything else. I can make a video on tractor maintenance safety, but this is more tractor operation oriented safety. Now, when you notice when I had the tractor in 4th gear and I let out the clutch real quick, you notice the tractor jerked. This seat doesn't hold you on. You will fall back off of the tractor. So that's very important. When you're getting on and off the tractor, make sure you have 3 points of contact. Now, I'm not doing it because I'm holding the phone, but usually my hand will be on this on the seat. Go slow, especially when it's wet like this. It's very important. So I'm going to do this again. Tractor's in 1st gear. I'm going to start the tractor, and it's going to roll. That kills people. There is no safety on this tractor. None. Built in 1947. Even that tractor over there, that is a 1974 Oliver 1655. Most modern tractor I have. Yet, it also has that feature where, well, not a feature, but that safety flaw where you can have the clutch in and start the tractor in gear. It will kill you. So some other things we're going to talk about operating the tractor now. Look right there, that's your water gauge. You want to make sure that you're watching that at all times. When you're running the tractor and it's hot, never take off that radiator cap. Most basic mechanics know that fact, but it's important to know. While you're driving the tractor, you want to listen to the transmission, the engine, and the bowl gears under the tractor. Listen to what sounds they're making once this engine gets warmed up and you're running this thing for hours and hours. You want to be in tune with what your tractor is doing at all times. Okay. So I'm going to back up the tractor here and we're going to put it away. You notice I'm using my ball. That ball can hurt sometimes and even break your fingers if that were to snap back. This is a manual steering tractor. Okay, we're coming in. I'm gonna do this slow. I don't want to hit back there. You see, I've already done it. So I don't want to hit back there. So we're gonna use the brake and the clutch, and we're just gonna feather that clutch in. Bring her back. All right. Shutting off your tractor on a hill. I'm currently on an incline. First thing we're gonna do, we're gonna take the tractor out of gear. My foot is on the brake. My foot has the clutch out. We are out of gear. Push the clutch in. Turn the tractor off. You want to wait until the tractor has completely stopped running before you get off the tractor. Lock the brakes. There you go. I say you want to wait because I have a Farmall Super M right behind me in the shed there. And that Super M, when you shut it off, you know, it stops running and it'll wind down. But it diesels. There's a hot point in the engine. Some mechanics watching the video may know it. The tractor diesels, it'll go. So you always want to make sure. That's my crappy representation of that. Getting off the tractor, you be careful, especially when it's wet out, especially with me making this video in the rain. Get off the tractor. First thing you want to do, disconnect that battery cable. Either or, positive or negative, one should come off. Turn that fuel off. Shut the fuel off. Look at your tractor. How are your tires? If you have a tire blowout, that's not good. How are your tires doing? How's your oil? You can check your dipstick. I have petcocks. I can check that. But I know this tractor is good. But you should always check it. Right here, your voltage regulator. Is it good? Is it hot? You don't have to do this every single time, but it's good to know. When you get off the tractor, how are things doing? This is old electrics. You can have issues. My Super M that I talked about, it had a short in the system and this caught on fire inside. So you always want to be careful. It's no joke. I love this H. I love driving it. I rake hay with it. It is incredibly reliable. It starts every single time, but I am never taking it for granted. I'm always making sure that I'm operating it safely. So to give another idea, we're going to come over in my shed and I'm going to show you my 806 big tractor, okay? Big tractor. Me standing next to it, I'm 6 foot. I go right up to the hood right there. Big tractor. What do you want to look at on this tractor? This is much bigger, but it's the same mechanical design as the H. Check your tires, especially the front ones. Check your back ones. When you're getting on the tractor, always make sure you're using your supports. Okay, so we're on the tractor. What are we looking at up here? Make sure your hydraulics are not engaged when you're shutting the tractor off. This tractor has a really vague transmission on it. Sometimes I just put it in neutral. Now it's in neutral. These linkages wear out. So I'm just trying to stress to you that if you back this tractor in, you have it in reverse, and you back the tractor in, okay, stop it right there. And you just throw that thing up there in neutral, let out the clutch, whoa, now you're moving. I've done it. So you always want to make sure that thing is in neutral, especially when you go to start the tractor, pushing that clutch every single time. So we talked about that tractor. I'm going to talk to you about my 1655, which is a sister tractor to this one. So I'm going to walk over there real quick. Okay, this is my 1655. And the goats are saying hello. Hi, girl. That's Goat. And over there, that's Oreo. She's coming over to say hi. Hi, Oreo. Hi, girls. Okay. So I'm going to turn on the lights. Whoa. This is a boom. You always want to make sure your tractor is on something. You kind of can't see. There's a 55-gallon drum that I have my bucket on. So I'm not going to go over there and turn on the lights if the... There it is. I'm not going to turn those lights on. This bucket weighs over 2,000 pounds. This falls on me, it will kill me. Never walk under your bucket, especially if it's sitting on something. Like I said, this tractor is my most modern tractor, but every single time you go to start it, is that transmission in gear. You push in that clutch. Every single time. So, here, I'll start it up for you. About to end the video, but we'll start this one for you. Going to start a tractor that has a loader. Are these engaged? See, if this was like this, it's engaged. And if I were to start this tractor, that bucket would go up, and that hay bale I have sitting on the front that I feed those goats with would hit the ceiling. How are my hydraulics? Okay. Pull the choke. Am I in gear? I double check after I pull the choke. My clutch is in. Now that I'm running, I'm going to double check that clutch. Let my foot out. There we go. Did you hear it? This tractor diesels too. When it was winding down, you heard it kind of crank up a little bit. That's why if you stop your tractor in gear, you keep that clutch pushed out the entire time. Okay, that's it for this video. Thank you very much for watching. I really wanted to go over this because many people have gotten injured on these tractors, and I love driving these old tractors. I love old equipment. I love old cars, but they're incredibly dangerous. There's one of my old cars right over there. So it's dangerous, and you got to know that. The only way that these machines can stay around is if the people that like them live. So I've had a lot of old timers tell me that you got to be careful. So I appreciate you watching this far. It's just a few things that I wanted to go over. I started driving these tractors in February, and I've gotten all of them running over time. I started with the H, and then I got the 806 running, and I've worked on all the tractors since then. And I cannot tell you how important it is to make sure that you get it in muscle memory to push in that clutch, make sure that gear shift isn't in gear. Give your tractor a check. So thank you for watching. I think the goats would like to say goodbye. Goof. We appreciate you watching. And I'll see you next time.